War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. As these two powerful forces prepare to clash, only one will rise victorious when the dust settles. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and the FLGS Partners, Warfire Minis, and X-Planet.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight, Oliver and I are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. A good order-on-order battle here tonight, where I'm playing the Fyreslayers, Oliver. You were originally going to take the first spin, but after our channel members voted for Stormcast as the opponent, you wanted to play the Golden Boys, so switching it up here a little bit.
It's been a long time since I got the Golden Boys out on the channel. I was very excited because this was my first love, actually the army that brought me back into Warhammer after a 10-year hiatus playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So excited to have them on the tabletop against your army, which every time I see them, I'm always thinking da-da-da, bum-bum-ba. Just like Khazad-dûm.
Yeah. And just before we get into things though, I do want to mention a reminder that we have a campaign going on. If you do want to help the channel out and lend some support, where we're trying to get our Beast of Chaos army commission painted. We're making good progress on the goal, so thanks to everyone that's contributed. Hoping to get that army on the table soon. So again, if you want to check that out, you can support by super thanks or super chats. And again, it just goes a long way in terms of helping us get new stuff on the table for our battles. But then looking at the mission today, Oliver, we're playing one of the staple ones of the new 6 missions, I feel like. This is the Jaws of Gallet. So 5 objectives on the table. Hold 1, hold 2, hold more. So normal scoring, normal grand strategy, battle tactics, all that. The twist with this one is whoever's going second in each battle round from the second round on burns one of the objectives. So obviously very impactful, especially late game. If it's a grindy game, that can definitely swing matches.
Yeah, and Jordan, you were talking about how spread out the objectives are. I think we'll really see that come into play later on in this game. And especially with 2 armies that, other than some early teleports or deep striking,
aren't known
they're not fast.
Yeah, slow when they're on the ground. But let's lead in, Oliver. Do you want to jump in and take us through your list?
Happily. So I'm running a Knights Excelsior list of Stormcast and Scions of the Storm. My general is the Lord Castellan with Master Magic and Thundershock as her spell. And then I have a Lord Relictor and the Celestant Prime all together in a command entourage.
Nice.
The Relictor has Translocate and the Galatian Champion ability of Tunnel Master, so I can move him around with whoever he's taken around with him.
Yep.
Then we have a Knight Azeros who's deep striking off the board, along with his trusted buddies, the unit of Paladins, Protectors. And we have a unit of 10 Retributors, which I'm excited to see come and hopefully do some smashing, and 15 Adjudicators. So that'll round it out. Notable, the Retributors are in Galatian Veterans, because that 1-inch ability to attack or within a half inch is helpful because they only have 1-inch reach on their weapons, unlike Protectors.
So that does help a ton.
So that helps a ton. And the Knight Azeros and the Protectors are in the our bodyguards. So we maybe can see some of those new rules come into play. But I know Jordan has the same battalion in his army.
Yes, hopefully we'll see it come into play. I'm running Fyreslayers today. My sub-faction is Greyfeared, so I get the 2 extra artifacts. And I have a ton of heroes, obviously, and then a bunch of Hearthguards. So starting off, my general is the Rune Father. On Magmadroth, he has the Mount trait to reduce damage by 1. He's got the command trait to pile in an attack twice once per game, and then the artifact once per game to have a 3-up ward save for a phase. So it can be very tanky when he needs to be. And then, as I mentioned, I do have 3 units of Hearthguard from a battle line. a unit with broad axes and a unit with pole axes on the table, and then another unit with pole axes off the table, deep striking with my Rune Smiter. Actually, the unit deep striking and the Rune Smiter are also in the battalion Delation Command, so that they can fight in the hero phase together, potentially. It's always it's a weird one, but we'll see if it comes up. I haven't actually ever gotten to pull it off in a game.
We'll just drop ours in the same spot. They'll both meet. They'll both fight in the hero phase, and everyone will die.
Sounds good.
It'll be great.
Yeah. And then again, a big smattering of heroes. I got a Rune Sun over here with the Battlesmith. I have a Flame Keeper and my Rune Master. And then I have a Grimwrath Berserker, who's just one of the little guys running off on his own.
Totally not go track.
Yeah, being a madman. I have a smattering of artifacts, obviously, with Command Entourage, plus the 2 free ones, plus the original, so 4. They're all listed there on the side. And Warlord Battalion, as Command Entourage, as I said, Delation Command, and then a Battle Regiment. So it did let me outdrop you here, Oliver.
Yep.
And I'm still getting my feet, finding my feet with this army. It's only my 3rd game with them, but yeah, having a fun time, so excited to see it. But unsurprisingly, Oliver, I'm going to give you first turn here, and we'll jump into Stormcast turn 1.
Let's see if I can get a battle tactic.
Boldly striving to dictate the engagement, the Stormcast battle tactic is desecrate their lands. The Lord Castellan fails heroic leadership, while the Rune Father on Magmadroth succeeds. The Castellan activates his Warding Lantern and casts Mystic Shield on the Retributors. Stack those saves. The Lord Relictor chants for translocation and teleports himself. The Retributors use at the double. The Protectors and Knight Azeros deep strike from the heavens. The Judicators use all that attack as the Rune Father defends, and they only deal 11 damage. Ouch. Raining arrows from the high grounds, the Stormcast complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, so Stormcast had the first turn, and it was pretty good. Few growing pains with the army, but in the hero phase was able to get off my shields and buffs, so my Retributors are sitting nice and tanky.
Yep.
I went for a Desecrate, so I ran them over here. I also translocated the Relictor because I was a little unsure about whether I did want to do the Auto 6 run and get them over. But after I got the 2 buffs, it seemed to make sense. Because I know Jordan has the rune of like +2 to move and everything, and he can bear down on me pretty quick. I need to put in some road bumps, so I got some Protectors here. And the thought is, okay, well, if Jordan wants to come into me with the Magmadroth, it's pretty wounded now. It's
yeah, far more wounded than I was hoping.
Yeah, the Judicators did some nice work, so they were able to pepper a few shots in, and after that, what that means is now if Jordan comes into me, there's a good chance I could smack him back and maybe take down the Magmadroth. So it's still 16 wounds, so there's still a little bit left. And I brought in my Knight Azeros on the side flank. I was tempted to keep him off the table. The only reason why I brought him down was because it now screens off this side of the Judicators and forces Jordan to deal with this objective. So it'll be interesting to see where Jordan's going to apply his force and bring down that other unit of Hearthguard. So
yeah.
With that, we'll go into an exciting Fyreslayers turn 1.
Let's do it.
Needing to reclaim ground, the Fyreslayers battle tactic is seize by force. The Rune Father heroically recovers 1 wound, and the Knight Azeros uses their finest hour. The Fyreslayers activate the rune on Searing Heat, and Grimwrath's oath is, "I will let nothing stand in my way." The Rune Master chants for Ember Storm on the right Hearthguard Berserkers, who then use at the double. The Rune Smiter and 10 Hearthguard deep strike into the battlefield with Magment tunneling. Magmadroth's roaring flame stream takes down a protector. The Runefather stomps the Knight Azeros, dealing 2 mortals. The Hearthguard use all-out attack and the protectors defend, but the Duardin deals 9 damage. The Knight Azeros attacks the Runefather, dealing just 1 damage. The Runefather fights back and takes out the Knight Azeros. Thank God, I don't have to say that anymore. The last protector attacks the Hearthguard, but deals no damage, then flees to Battleshock. Run back to Daddy. Taking the fight to Sigmar's finest, the Fyreslayers complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Fyreslayers turn 1 was honestly pretty good. Again, disappointed to have taken so much damage on that first turn. You could have translocated, so I could have deployed him further back. But honestly, this terrain piece I've been talking about has really been stumping my game plan and like movement and all that. So he could have been shot pretty much wherever he was. Otherwise, he's somewhere irrelevant.
Yep.
But he did a good job taking this objective for me, ensuring I get my battle tactic, because your die counted as 10 models unless I had another GC on it. Mm-hmm. So that's was good here. Put run in charge Ember Storm on this unit of Hearthguard. Now, unfortunately with positioning, and you did a good job of putting your protectors close to the unit that they most wanted to fight, which is the ones that aren't doing the mortals, 2 mortals on 6s. So that put me in a tough spot and actually prompted me to go with the Rune of Searing Heat to do try to get some additional mortal damage.
Which was great.
With doing mortals on 6s. I think I got 4 mortals or something in addition.
No, 5
mortals,
in addition.
4 or 5 mortals in addition. I got 2 attacks through because you're on a 2-up save with all defense.
So the 9 damage total was enough to clear out 3 and the final guy ran to battle shock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So all pretty effective. Again,
didn't do any damage back.
I had to kind of deep strike weirdly around the terrain and the other unit because I knew they were trying to charge in, just to try and protect all my heroes, which I did. And same thing here. I'm not really like I kind of want to get, in the center and then pivot depending on where the objective goes or is burned from. Mm-hmm. The other thing here, I didn't get a big run with my Hearthguard, so my heroes are a little bit exposed over here. So I just popped my Grimwrath right in front of your paladins there. So while he's not fighting right now, he's just getting in the way. There's just a big bubble to move around, so basically kind of protects me in that regard. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly everything. Again, got enough damage to clear them out thanks to the mortals on 6s to wound in addition.
Yeah.
And yeah, still worried about my general, but there's not too much I can do about that right now, I don't think.
No.
So either way, it's going to put us into a turn 2 priority roll.
Bouncing dice.
That's a 3, so I will have choice here. And well, I think I could potentially give it away here at the risk of my general. I am going to take it, try and get some damage in, and we'll go into Fyreslayers turn 2.
With tempers flaring, the Fyreslayers' battle tactic is Cunning Maneuver. The Runefather heroically recovers 3 wounds, and the Castellan fails heroic leadership. Fyreslayers activate the Rune of Fury and also gain the enhanced effect. Oh shit. The Rune Smiter chants for Ember Storm on the Hearthguard, but the Rune Master fails Prayer of Ash. The Hearthguard use at the double. The Castellant redeploys, moving 6 inches. The Judicators unleash Hell, taking down 1 Hearthguard Berserker. At the start of the combat, the Runefather activates Lord of the Lodge. The Grimwrath Berserker downs his Magmalt Ale and takes out the Lord Castellant. The Judicators attack the Hearthguard and deal 2 damage. The Judicators use Olive Defense as the Hearthguard attack, dealing 12 damage. The Retributors attack the Grimwrath and avenge their general, but the little Berserker fights on death and takes out 3 Paladins. What an angry little dwarf. After taking casualties, 3 more Judicators flee to Battleshock. Oh, that doesn't help. Landing heavy blows against the Celestial Knights, the Fyreslayers complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Let's go Fyreslayers.
Really?
Yeah, on
It was
fire
their
today.
Super Bowl today.
Rolled the enhanced effect for my rune. I think that might have been the first time I've actually rolled the enhanced effect. I did +1 hit. I'm saving the +1 rune for obviously the Paladins are the kind of the super tanky threat, and +1 hit turned into +1 attack also. Which was good. Here, it was good on the Hearthguard. I also used his once per game ability because my general is a liability. He might die at any point. So I did had them up at 2 attacks, which is double their output. You killed 2 between the Unleash Hell and the combat, which
was not great.
I mean, you should kill. I actually made really good ward saves on your Unleash Hell, but for 8 Hearthguard going into, I killed 6 guys in combat. Didn't feel like, again, I don't know, sometimes Hearthguard just, I expect them to do more, right? Like for a big hammer unit, but it's the durability is the big thing. They do damage, but it's the durability is like the shining.
I think that the really unfortunate thing, it shows the poor misplays of my first turn, but I didn't need to have this guy over here, because if this guy wasn't over here, he could be here and he could translocate the guys out of combat, and I still have play with that unit. I ran these guys 10, but then messed up with this guy here who was out half an inch, so I had to redeploy him to try and get away
back into buff range.
Get back into buff range. Yep. You made the charge, you kill him, and then you did 10 damage to the Retributors.
Fighting on death.
It was, I rolled 5 1s and 2s. They were on a 1-up save, and I rolled 5 1s and 2s.
Ren 2, but exactly.
Ren 2, but 5 1s and 2s. So
not good.
All the things that didn't need. So it meant I didn't have a inspiring presence. Yep. So I lost another 3 to Battleshock.
Which actually flipped the objective.
Which so now Jordan controls that. So
I got
it's kind of like the worst possible outcome of the turn. I even thought about, if I won it, I thought about giving it away, because
similar. I think we were both kind of in that because
of which objectives to burn. But it was that was a really bad set of scenarios. But There's still some play. I got the Prime left. What's going to hurt is these buffs will go away from these guys, and the fact that Jordan's units get to hit me before I can even hit them means that there's really there's nowhere where I can hit Jordan anymore. I can't go into his main unit, so I got to try and maneuver around the board and score more points than he does. So you'll score 5 points, and I will try and claw it back.
And Bunter in full effect in the middle. We'll go into fight. Stormcast turn 2.
Relying on Sigmar's strength to salvage this fight, the Stormcast battle tactic is eye for an eye. The Relictor uses heroic leadership, and the Runefather heroically recovers 3 wounds. The Relictors chant for translocation and teleports the Retributors. Looking to turn the tide, the Celestial Prime deep strikes from the heavens, and then Lord Relictor uses Tunnel Master. The Celestial Prime's Comet Strike Scepter deals 1 mortal to the Runefather. Then, the Judicators shoot at the Hearthguard, dealing 5 damage. The Retributors use Forward to Victory, but fail their charge. The Celestial Prime attacks first, dealing 4 damage to the Hearthguard. The Hearthguard fight next, taking out 4 Judicators, who fight back but deal no damage. Unable to shift the stubborn Dwarden, the Stormcast fail their battle tactic and score just 2 points.
All right, Stormcast turn 2, and yes, not all the droids we were looking for. We translocated the Retributors over the side, hoping to take advantage of not allowing the Hearthguard to fight first because they were in combat with the Judicators. Used the Telemaster to put the Relictor over on the side, and then there's a debate about bringing the Prime in, but at this point kind of need to gamble to get some extra damage and hope for the turn. He didn't end up doing any damage to the Hearthguard with his Comet, only did 1 to the General, who's now been healing 3 wounds a turn, so he's more or less back to...
It's top bracket.
Top bracket at this point, so which is pretty rough, given that he still has his 3-up ward artifact. And the hard thing was not only just failing the battle tactic, but then in addition to that, like not even killing 1 more wound worth of a model so that I would take the objective. So that was pretty harsh.
So just 2 points then.
So
you
just
did take this one.
So I'll score 2 points. And I guess we'll go into a turn roll-off to see what there's left.
Round 3. That's a 2.
That's a 2.
I win ties.
Jordan wins ties.
And I think here I'll actually give it to you, Oliver. Set me up for another double later. I'm not too scared right now. Cool. You'll probably finish those Hearthguard. But it's namely me choosing where the objectives are. I will burn this one over there to just shrink the battlefield, and we'll jump into Stormcast turn 3.
Still hoping to bring glory to Sigmar, the Stormcast battle tactic is gaining momentum. The Celestial Prime uses heroic leadership, and the Runefather heroically recovers 2 wounds. The Relictors chant for translocation on himself. The Judicators shoot and finish off 1 Hearthguard, and the Celestial Prime deals 3 mortals to the Runefather. The Runefather roars the Retributors, then uses his Master of Rune of Unbreakable Resolve. The Runefather uses all of defense as the Retributors fight, dealing 5 damage. The Hearthguard attack next and finish off the Judicators. Looking to finish off the Berserkers, the Celestial Prime attacks, dealing 5 damage. That means one survives with one wound left? Oh. The Runefather fights the Paladins, dealing 12 damage to them. Using Blood of the Berserker, the Runefather fights again and finishes off the Retributors. Returning to Azir sooner than expected, the Stormcast fail their battle tactic, but at least score 3 points?
Okay, Stormcast turn, and again a womp womp. Was able to get the Translocate, pop Relictor over here just to, because he would die if he was on
there was
the other
nothing.
side.
He was not doing anything.
He wasn't doing anything over there. It wasn't stopping Jordan from keeping the objective. Moved over here so that Jordan couldn't redeploy onto the objective. So that was all cool. Made the 10-inch charge. That felt cool. Of course, Jordan was going to pop the 3+ ward. So that was what it was. A little bit lackluster in the damage, but it wasn't actually. You know what? It was probably statistically average.
It was great damage.
The problem is it's just like it's the ultimate anti to that unit because they do two damage, and what ignores 2 damage? Something that doesn't take
reduce it by 1.
Reduce
really
damage by 1. So when
and
you reduce
and
a 3-up ward save. So it was like, it was everything was gold for, and then also fights on death. So
not fights on death, but piling attack twice.
Once per game.
I popped his trait.
So then he smacks the unit.
Not to mention, that I also have the rune effects from the previous round. So I'm getting +1 to hit and +1 attack.
Yeah. So pretty gnarly.
Not bad.
Pretty gnarly. So, and then to rub ultimate salt in the wound, I did 12 damage to 3 Hearthguard, and Jordan made enough saves.
A bunch of wards. One above average to keep one guy alive on one wound, deny the tactic.
Yeah. That was quite unfortunate not to clear out that unit. So failing the tactic again. So there's 2 failed tactics. So I'll only score 3 points this turn.
Yep.
Because I'll go 1, 2, and more. But that's I've dropped 4 points there, and that was any hope of having some sort of game is gone. Yep. So at this point, it'll be Jordan's turn. And we can call it probably here because
I think
there's nothing I can possibly. Jordan, just by putting his monster on this objective, not even engaging it in combat, takes it, runs one Hearthguard on there, has all the objectives, and even if you can't claim tactics.
And there are some good Fyreslayers ones too, so tactics I'm not too concerned about. I still have Desecrate, there are some easy ones. But as you say, it's like this is like the perfect end game for Fyreslayers. There's 3 objectives really close now. And I know what you're gonna say in a minute, but sitting here just right in the middle, like you can't do enough, right?
No.
Obviously damage, 4 boards, you don't have to punch through stuff fast enough.
Yeah.
And I just sit on the objectives and outscore.
Yeah. And what Jordan was definitely knowing I was about to say is, in my second turn, when Jordan decided to take it, I should have burnt the middle, because the middle means that Jordan's not sitting on it. It kind of forces him to hold back a little bit, or at least consider that.
Yeah.
Because then if this is not in play, so then we have that one. Even if Jordan burns this one or this one, it really spreads Jordan out over the whole board. Or at the least, because you mentioned that, and I still honestly would have had the same strategy of coming towards the middle, because there would have been 2 on either side, and my hope would have been, as this has happened, give away turn and burn those ones later in the game. Yeah.
But had you taken the turn, you given me the turn, or I had to take it and you burned, having them here, I can still pivot back to these 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have tried to keep that bunker as long as possible.
Yeah, so I think in retrospect, reflecting on my list, reflecting on what I've learned about Fyreslayers, I mean, I always knew the speed was a thing, but the double turn against an aggressive Fyreslayers play is a little bit punishing, and it kind of unfortunately undid all the great work that I had done trying to take down the Magma Draw.
Oh yeah.
Which meant that my whole ability to attack this flank was kind of quite hurt, but the 3 little misplays were one, this objective, but I don't think that was actually... yes, it would have changed the game a little bit and made their play at the end of the game, but that didn't lose me the game. Losing me the game was the poor positioning over here with this unit, and moving the Relictor away, because it meant that I couldn't take the Judicators up. Because if I could have taken
you still had 5 at that point.
I had 5 or 6 at that point.
Yeah.
Could have put them back on this here and shot at Jordan's Magmadroth. And then maybe had some play over the end of the turn. And then if this one wasn't in the center as well, I can play a little bit. And there wasn't also the need to bring down my Galatian champion.
Yeah. The only other thing I'm thinking, the Judicators, the turn I did go into them, 3 ran into Battle Shock, so if you hadn't been able to save a CP, whether it's it was because of the poor repositioning here. Yeah. Because I wasn't in range to give them the buffs the next turn. So you did that.
If I had measured it by another half an inch.
Yeah. You would have been in position.
I would have been in position to give the buffs, save the CP for then the immune to battle shock, which is 3 less dudes, which is
if the hero was also still there.
If the hero was also there, then that's
you're popping out 8 guys. They're still potentially teleporting out, finishing off the Magmadroth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I guess just taking a quick look back at Fyreslayers, obviously we got to see some of the strengths here. This was kind of the first list I feel like I built on my own, and I'm glad it actually ended up working. Like the Magmadroth, single Magmadroth gave me speed, a speedy threat. It also gave me one of the big things is a hero that could keep up with like a running and charging unit of Hearthguard to extend that 4-inch ward aura. So that was big. Obviously, 2 turns of trying to take that unit down and denying the tactic is pivotal. The Fyreslayers bunker, I literally had forgotten earlier in the game until you mentioned it, that if you come into me, I'm fighting before you are, just with all the things I'm trying to remember with the new army. But yeah, it's like, you really can't crack this with a lot of armies. Like, will just not be able to crack a bunker like this, in Fyreslayers.
Yeah.
Because you can't shoot it off because it's rallying even up to 3 units. You can't even shoot at the heroes.
Yeah.
Your unit that charges in is getting hit first. Maybe they're not dying again. The Hearthguard aren't doing 30 damage, but they'll cripple something so it's not doing enough to my guys in return, right? So. Yeah.
I mean, one thing that Jordan's list has, which I liked, is still having that unit of tunneling Hearthguard, because it forced me to play conservative with the Prime. I actually wanted to, against Fyreslayers, I want to actually try bringing the Prime down turn 1, just so that I could be sitting back here and then popping right here, D3 mortal wounds on every single unit, and D3 mortal wounds,
trying to
chew through the heroes slowly after a few turns. I mean, it's still not that much. It's only D3 damage, but it is potentially enough that if Jordan fails a few things here and there, that could take out a few heroes.
Yep. And that's one of the.
And that's enough. That's how you crack the nut, is if the heroes kind of go
mortal
down.
wounds outside of shooting, like in spells or abilities. Obviously, Zinj, Lumineth, AoE. Like there are a few things that can do it, but shooting and combat are both going to have a tough time chewing through the Fyreslayers. Though mobility again could dance around them with on objectives. But all told, Oliver, it was strong showing for Fyreslayers.
Strong showing.
Yeah, I told Oliver at the end, I tried to get you to play Fyreslayers.
Yeah, Jordan gave me the chance, so this is my, I feel it twice.
Yeah, your own penance for, you chose Stormcast.
But yeah, I still always learned a few things. I've been trying to learn up a bit about Fyreslayers, and they're not an army to be underestimated.
For sure. Especially, this new edition really plays into their strengths.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's everything for today. We'll wrap things up here, guys. Hope you enjoyed this battle report, and we'll see you soon in another video.